This just in out of the NFL, where Kliff Kingsbury has agreed to a deal to become the Commanders' next offensive coordinator. That's been confirmed by our Jonathan Jones. Kingsbury was out of the NFL this season working as a senior offensive analyst at USC under Lincoln Riley. Kingsbury was originally expected to take the Raiders' OC opening, but eventually withdrew his name from consideration. He'll take over a Commanders' offense that could have a new quarterback following the NFL draft, where Washington holds the #2 overall pick. Time now to welcome in CBS Sports NFL and college football analyst Emory Hunt to assess the Commanders hiring Kliff Kingsbury. Emory, first off, what's your reaction to the Commanders landing Kliff Kingsbury?
I like it, man. I've always been a Kliff Kingsbury fan. I think he does a great job with offense. So I'm not surprised that he ends up in Washington. There's a lot of unique pieces there to work with. You have the #2 overall pick. You have a lot of receivers at your disposal. And you run a wide-open offensive attack that yields itself to having success in the NFL. The second time around, we'll see what he learned. But I think this is a great fit for Washington. Much better pieces to work with than out there in Vegas.
You ain't lying about that. You're not lying about that one bit. Now, what does this signal? Because there's a lot of discussion about the Commanders, trade or not trading, but landing a quarterback for that #2 spot. What does it signal about where they might be headed for a new QB spot?
It seems like they're heading for a quarterback, whether that's one in the draft. Maybe the Bears are able to ship Justin Fields if they move off from him to the nation's capital. But when you look at the receivers, there are a lot in place. There's a lot in place already than what he had to build himself as the head coach out there in Arizona. You already have Terry McLaurin, all-pro type receiver. You have Jahan Dotson, a vertical threat that can get deep down the field. You could bring back Curtis Samuel. We saw De'Ami Brown step up toward the back end of the season that has some splash plays throughout. So there's a lot to work with already in place. The quarterback position is fun to think about because you have some options. So I think this is a better situation for Kliff Kingsbury to step in, because we know he wants to work the 53 and the third width of the field. He's going to line up those spaced out formations. And if you can get the right quarterback, they're going to be able to air it out there in the nation's capital.
Okay, you said all that, which was great, but you ain't named one QB, bro. Like, you had Justin Fields. What are we talking about? Maybe Drake May, maybe Jaden Daniels, or Caleb, if the trade works out?
All of those boxes can be checked, right? Because for me, if I had to pick who I would want, it would be Caleb Williams, it would be Justin Fields, it would be Jaden Daniels in that order. So I don't think you can go wrong if you're Washington with whom you're going to take at #2 or who you can acquire via trade. Now, if you're Chicago, you don't want to trade the quarterback to someone in the same conference. You want to get him out to the AFC. So if you potentially see him, it would be in a Super Bowl. But if you have to move off of him and your best offer is Washington, you take it. That's a good fit for Washington. What they want to do jives well with Justin Fields' skill set. But, hey, you're sitting right there. You can potentially take a Caleb Williams. You can trade up to get him. Or you yourself also hold the cards if you want to take a different quarterback that maybe you can move down a few spots. And now you hold the lottery ticket to acquire more assets as well. So it's a good situation to be in if you're Washington. And listen, Caleb Williams, Justin Fields, Jaden Daniels will be my 3 in that order if I'm the Commanders.
Yeah, a lot of fun decisions and dilemmas for the Washington Commanders. Now, Kliff Kingsbury, you're right, has had a long history in college, right? Profiling or leading some of the best offenses in the nation, also with the Cardinals as a head coach with Kyler Murray. So what can we expect, big picture-wise, from his scheme as we continue to evolve, or as he continues to evolve as an offensive mind?
I know everyone loves to say this, but it's so true with Kliff Kingsbury. He's going to make you cover and defend every blade of grass as a defense, especially as a secondary. And when you think about those receivers that I just rattled off that Washington already has in tow, it makes it even difficult when you think about Kliff Kingsbury coming in and orchestrating the offense. Whoever is going to be the quarterback is going to step into a very good situation. Not only will you have a play caller and an OC like Kliff Kingsbury, but you also have very good receivers at your disposal. They're going to work touchdown to check down. They're going to be able to take the big shot deep down the field, but they can also live in that intermediate area of the field rather well. So there's a lot to work with here. This is a better situation for him because he could be the head coach of the offense without being the head coach of the football team, which is probably where he's best suited. So I think this is a great fit for both Kingsbury and the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that Commanders offense just blowing people out and having a very explosive offense. Emory Hunt, always a pleasure talking to you, brother. And again, y'all know what time it is. Sunday, February 11th, we've got coverage of the Super Bowl, the big game, 6 Eastern, and we're going to have Super Bowl coverage all week leading up to the 49ers against Kansas City.